I shouldn't say that. I'm turning off the news, 'cause I don't believe it. I'm fixing things.
Hi, everybody.
I'm fixing things.
It's Hank Linderman on Monday, October 26th. A few days before Halloween.
I'm fixing things. I'm clearing out.
I think we're 8 days out. Is that possible from the election? 8 days out. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for this to be finished. I'm ready for us to finish this thing. Let's get her done. What do you say? Hi, I'm Hank Linderman. I'm running for Congress here in Kentucky's 2nd District. And you know the 2nd District in Kentucky? 21 counties. I'm not going to go into it. I already see that Chris Pritchard's here. Roy Frazier is here. Everybody share Cindy. Barbara. All right. Yes, I hope everyone is okay. It's a very stressful time. I don't know if you all have noticed. It's a very, very stressful time. That's what I see with myself and with other people. It didn't help that I watched a movie last night called The Ides of March with a Mr. George Clooney, new guy, actually a Kentuckian. George Clooney's from Kentucky. If any of you know him, please tell him I'd like to have a brief conversation with him. Hi, George. Anyway, yeah, we had, I watched the Ides of March, and who else is in that movie? Evan Rachel Wood is in it, and the star, I can see him, the leading man, his name just slips my mind. Anyway, it's one of those shows that really takes any idealism you might have about politics and kind of kills it. So I warn you, if you want to watch that movie, you may not feel so great. It was Ryan Gosling is the main character. He's a great actor. And George Clooney's not so bad himself. And anyway, it was a great cast. Philip Seymour Hoffman, and who's the other guy from? Anyway, great movie, but really depressing, especially if you've got any trace of idealism left. Do you have any trace of idealism left in your bones? I'll tell you what, that's one thing that this presidency has taken from me is a bunch of my idealism about the country and about our political process, which seems extremely fragile right now. Well, look, let's have a look at our numbers, because I know we got to look at them. The bad news is we are well and truly over 230,000 deaths, 230,510. Even though it was the weekend, it looks like we had, 442 new deaths, which is really not good. And even though over the weekend, we know that the numbers are not really, we're waiting for them to actually come in. We're pushing 9 million new cases, 9 million total cases, number one in the world. Bill McNichol is here, and he's going to ask you to share. Get your friends involved here. We have good conversations, and you all have great conversations over here on the comments. I'm always turning to the side so that I can see them. Anyway, let's move on to the states. Texas is roaring into first place. They have nearly 1 million cases. And considering that they are smaller than California, that's an indication of just how bad things are in Texas. And, really bad timing for this, of course. Remember, we look at this all the time from Johns Hopkins University. We get this through nakedcapitalism.com. And notice that here we are on October 26th, and we have exceeded the previous high of around August 15th, July something, late in July 20th. The Sobranics are here. So glad to have you here. I thought I would show you also, when you correct for population, it looks very interesting. Notice how Canada corrected for population is doing so much better than this. And we are kind of similar countries. Canada and the United States are kind of similar. Multilingual, multicultural. We have a continental scale. We were from the common law tradition, a federal system, and a mixed economy. But Canada has single payer. They have a healthcare system that it doesn't cost you anything to go get a checkup. They have a healthcare system that keeps your drug prices in control. If any of you out there have anyone in your family who has diabetes and they need to be on insulin, insulin can be extremely expensive in the United States. You know, Bernie Sanders, I believe, at one point took maybe 100 Americans across the border into Canada with the idea of buying insulin. And they got over there, and the amount of insulin that they were used to spending $1,000 on, they got for only $100. So that's just an example of what it takes when you don't have a single payer system. This is from the letters section in Naked Capitalism. And the point is, if we don't take care of our society, if we don't put a safety net under our people, the virus is going to continue to spread. And we are seeing the virus spread quite a bit right now. And I'm not sure. Well, okay. I guess you all are still there. I hope you are, because and I hope I get to see your comments. It looks like you all are still here. Great. Anyway, the idea is that if we don't take care of our people, then the virus will spread, because people who can't afford health care can't go to the doctor. They're going to wait till they're really sick, and by then they might have spread it in about 15 different directions. So that's really not good. Okay, let's have a look at the story I wanted to talk to you about today. Unfortunately, this is mostly bad news until we get to the end, and then I'll have some good news, I'm hoping. So this is from a story in the Atlantic. If you know the Atlantic at all, you know the stories are really long. They go on for quite a bit. And so I only took a little bit of it, but I'm going to encourage you to go to the Atlantic and read this story called "America is Trapped in a Pandemic Spiral." This is from that story. Army ants. Let's see if we can do it this way. How about that? Let's do it that way. There we go. Isn't that cool? Get to all this production stuff. You should see all the buttons I have at my disposal. Anyway, army ants will sometimes walk in circles until they die. The workers navigate by smelling the pheromone trails of workers in front of them while laying down pheromones for the others to follow. If these trails accidentally loop back on themselves, the ants are trapped. They become a thick, swirling vortex of bodies that resembles a hurricane as viewed from space. They march endlessly until they're felled by exhaustion or dehydration. The ants can sense no picture bigger than what's immediately ahead. They have no coordinating force to guide them to safety. They're imprisoned by a wall of their own instincts. This phenomenon is called the death spiral. I can think of no better metaphor for the United States of America's response to the COVID-19 nightmare pandemic. The U.S. is entering its 9th month of the pandemic. I got to stop for a second. I looked at something, I think it was Stephen Colbert or someone talked about, we might be locked down for 8 weeks. Wow. The U.S. enters the 9th month of the pandemic with more than 6.3 million confirmed cases and more than 189,000 confirmed deaths. Actually, a lot more. We know that we're over 230,000 already, and we believe that that's 75,000 people short. The toll has become enormous because the country presented the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus with a smorgasbord of vulnerabilities to exploit. But the toll continues to be enormous. Every day, the case count rises by around 40,000 or 60,000 or 70,000 over the weekend, and the death toll by around 800, because we have consistently thought about the pandemic in some seriously unproductive ways. One, of course, was the idea that it's just going to go away. And I remember that statement from President Trump and thinking, maybe it's going to go away, but why are we counting on that? that seems like a poor way to do things. And we also did not do a great job. Yes, President Trump shut down the border to China, but then allowed 40,000 Americans to come back from China without checking them. They just came right back in and spread right into the population. So a very difficult situation that we are in. You know what I say? I always want for us to go Godzilla. And unfortunately, I think we've gone too far to be able to knock this thing down with contact tracing and testing alone. I think what we're going to have to do is get a little bit smarter and look at the countries that have done well. My suspicion is we have to lock down certain communities, people that are more likely to get sick, support them financially so they can't afford to stay home. And anytime there's a breakout, shut that area down. But right now, I don't know if you saw, an advisor to the White House yesterday said that there would be no controlling the coronavirus. There was no way to control it. Now, President Trump today is saying, oh, no, we're going to control it. But that certainly was a terrible way to present it. Look, I looked for some good news. And like I say, today was kind of a tough day to find some good news. But I found some. And, you know, all I did was do a search for good news. Let me show you what I found. Let's see if I can locate this. Here we go. Solar energy is now the cheapest electricity in history and just met 100% of the demand in South Australia for the first time. That is fantastic news. That is really fantastic news. And I don't have much more to tell you about it, except that the idea that South Australia went to 100% solar energy and that it worked, that's fantastic. 100% of their demand. They had a combination of cloudless skies, low energy demand, and mild temperatures, and that helped. But they actually hit 100%. So, folks, that's just a wonderful thing. You know, I'm going to be short today. I'm going to be brief today. Not short. I'll be brief. Because I have a bunch of things to do. And I have to tell you, I got a little bit verklempt, of course, and frustrated over the dealing with the virus, because it does feel like we really haven't done our job. Now, our people in medicine, and I'm hoping we're going to have Dr. Greg this week.
Greg Adams, good Dr. Adams, ask Dr. Greg.
And see, that cheered me up. That made me feel better. By the way, if you aren't making it, you need to show up on the weekends. We're going to have one more weekend of Getting Angry, where we've got music going on. And some of the music has been just spectacular. In fact, I'm kind of tempted to play some music here, just to give you all a taste of what we have been doing on the weekend. I'll see if we can do that. But before we do, we'll talk about something else. And that is a very interesting thing from Bloomberg. And it turns out that President Trump's edge in rural states is shrinking. It's getting smaller in some states. And I believe that that's happening in Kentucky as well. Kentucky used to be plus 30 for President Trump. I think they are now below plus 20. I think they're at plus 15 or 16. And remember, Kentucky was one of the strongest states for President Trump. So the idea that he's losing the discussion, even in rural America, some of it, I think, is because rural Americans farmers really experienced the bad end of the stick when it came to the tariffs that were put on soybeans, by the Chinese as retaliation to the American tariffs. People who ordered steel for buildings or for their businesses saw the price of steel go up a significant amount. I spoke with someone recently who spent a bunch of money on machinery for his business, and because the machinery came from China, there was a $50,000 tariff on it. And that does not help American workers. It's not worked. The tariffs, by the way, They're just a tax on citizens. They're just a tax on businesses. They do raise the price of goods from another country, but without a coordinated and thoughtful and long-range industrial policy, you're just trying things, and they generally will not work. We need to have a real industrial policy. I don't believe the United States has had an industrial policy since World War II. So a real industrial policy would be a great thing. We also, of course, need to fix our healthcare system. But back to the rural edge thing, that idea that the rural edge, this is why it is so important for Democrats to pay attention to rural America. Because this article says it looks like Biden's team is paying a little bit more attention to rural America. And if that's the case, that's why we talk about the Contract for Rural and Working America all the time. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Cindy. There were some new people. Elizabeth Ann, I don't recognize. Let's see who else. Donna Knight is here. Suzanne Michaels is here. Kettlewell. Suzanne Kettlewell Michaels. Now, Kettlewell, that's a name from my past. Chris Pritchard, of course. Jennifer Laletta. I know Jennifer. And anyway, so it's great to have you all here. Anyway, back to the contract. The point of this is to get to work on the things that matter in rural America. My opinion is we got President Trump. He was able to exploit the idea that Democrats didn't care. They weren't involved. Democrats as a national party were not involved in much of rural America. And so that means that someone like President Trump can come along and make kind of promises and at least show them that he pays attention to them, and they vote for him. And there he is. With the legislative advantage that rural America has more legislative districts, more senators than any other portion of the population. We should already have a decent healthcare system. We should already have higher pay for people who work. We should already have rural broadband. We should already have all this stuff. Should already be here, but it's not. So let's see. Dare I look for a video for you all to see? I'm gonna take a quick look here and see if I can find something that you all might enjoy hearing. It's going to take me a moment. Let's see. I hope you all don't mind me fiddling about here with trying to find this. I think what I would like to do is play you something from Willie Houston. I'm just going to play you a little bit of this just so you know what you're missing if you're not here on the weekends. Willie Houston is a friend of mine from Bowling Green. He's a great musician, and he's got two little girls with him that are really, really cute, and we're going to watch a little bit of them. So this is what we're doing on the weekend. This is a little taste. Oh, and someone wants to have Ted. We might have to see what Ted has to say. But anyway, here's Willie Houston from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and with his daughters. So, Willie, how's it going?
Hello, Hank. Thanks for having us today. It's a great pleasure. Before you stands the future. If you believe in the future of the planet that we depend on now and always will depend on, and if you believe in empathy and equality and all the good things that we also depend upon, really, then Hank's your man. If you can contribute, please do so, whether that's vocally or financially. And it means you can. I feel like it's, at least in my lifetime, more important to vote now than ever. We all have a voice, and together, if we keep at it, we can change things. All right, girls, you ready? You ready? We're gonna sing. The future's gonna sing you a song. This is Maybelle and Evie Ray Houston. Cinderella. That's their stage name. All right, we ready? I'm gonna count. 1, 2, 3. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. Please don't take my sunshine away. Yay. Can you say thank you?
Thank you.
And goodbye?
And goodbye.
And go vote.
And go vote.
All right, Willie, that's just so great. Those little girls are just impossibly cute, but it raises the point that we need to pay attention to what the future needs from us, meaning our children, our grandchildren, our families, generations going forward. And that's why that business about South Australia being able to get 100% of their energy from solar power, that's just such a great, great thing. Well, look, I'm going to be back tomorrow. What's going on tomorrow? I'm trying to remember what's going on. Oh, you know what I could do? Also, I want to show you, I may be able to show you. All right. Yeah, I think we're just going to wait. We're going to wait on that. Anyway, I will be back tomorrow. Sorry to be a little bit disorganized. I've been up since very, very early. I had to take a trip this morning up into Louisville to deliver some stuff. This is the tail end of the campaign, and this is the time when all of our work is coming to fruition. And I want to thank those of you that have been contributing. It really makes a tremendous difference. And we had a successful weekend, by the way, with contributions from the concert that was done. One more concert coming this Saturday and Sunday. Well, two more. This coming weekend is the last one. It's time for you to get out and vote. It's time for you to make sure your neighbor voted, your family voted. Cindy is liking the new ad. Well, now I'm wanting to look for an ad. You see how this is? I'm really wanting to look for an ad. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, I've got it. I've got it. Let's look at one of the ads. And by the way, Rich Campbell did this ad. And if it inspires you to help us out, we really appreciate it. Okay, so here's one of our ads.
Trump and the Republicans are putting people to work. America is great again. America is great again.
Nearly two-thirds of all American voters have said they are not better off in Trump's America. America's great again? Wait, who's America's great again? When Brent Guthrie came to Congress, his personal wealth was below the median for other House members, estimated a total of $500,000. While other House members' median wealth remained flat, Guthrie's personal wealth skyrocketed to an estimated $7,600,000 in 2018. Meanwhile, the quality of education in the state of Kentucky ranks 45th lowest in the nation. And according to the Wallet Hub, Kentucky has one of the worst economies in the U.S. Trump's America is great for Guthrie, but Guthrie is wrong for Kentucky.
I'm Hank Linderman, and I approve this message.
Yes, thank you, Rich Campbell, for doing that. You know what? I'm going to get out of here because so many things on my mind. I do want to say that I'm doing this because I believe we need to make some real changes in this country. We need to have a government that responds to the people. We seem to say that over and over again, but we wind up with people that are beholden to their corporate contributors, like the guy I'm running against. 80% of his money comes from corporate contributions from AT&T and Verizon and large pharmaceutical companies and oil companies and so on and so on. I don't take any corporate contributions, and that's why I rely on your help. So if you're able to help us, we really, really appreciate it. All right, I'm going to see you all tomorrow. I'll be back. I hope you'll be back. Tell your friends about it. Make sure they're going out to vote. And even though you're getting angry, use that anger to focus yourself. You don't want to be a damn fool. Use it to focus your determination to do the right thing. All right, I will see you all tomorrow. Love you. See you.
Now wait just a damn minute.